All right, all right, all right. I am so excited for this series because we've got GUMIHO in the top right side of the map, ZOUN in the bottom left side of the map. It's Terran versus Protoss. ZOUN plays interesting build orders. His double gas sentry into Phoenix opening is so clever. Sometimes he plays it into Blink. Sometimes he does proxy gate shenanigans. He's got so many different builds. It's amazing. And to see him go up against GUMIHO, a build order master in his own right, I cannot wait to see what happens when these two clash. Now, this is actually a series I've been meaning to cast for a while. It's been on my list, and there's just been so many good games popping up. It kept getting pushed down the list. I guess partially because, I don't know, maybe when I was picking matches to cast every day, every week, I was just kind of going for the, you naturally go for the names that are the most famous and stuff. Oh, Cyril Clem, we gotta watch that. Oh, bloody Max Pack Cyril. Cool. Clem Hero. Oh, okay, we gotta cast that. And sometimes you forget that GUMIHO ZOUN is actually, I think it's a different brand of StarCraft we don't see enough anymore at the very, very top, which is players picking a huge range of very different builds and smashing them into each other and adapting throughout a series. And you will also just less perfect execution. It's a bit more unpredictable because ZOUN and GUMIHO are not as, I would say, crazy good on the multitasking as, like, there are a few players, just a handful, like 5 in the world, who are just next level mechanically. Clem, Max Pax, Raynor when he's on point, though I would say he hasn't been as perfect with his play lately, but definitely when he's switched on. Oh my gosh. Cyril. Hero, Hero is weird because Hero and Dark, I think, are two of the most gifted players in terms of how fast they are, like mechanically, their mouse accuracy. I do think they both use kind of suboptimal techniques, which means they do struggle to quite keep up with, like, say, a Clem. Because a Clem can exert so much pressure, they can't keep up. But anyway, point. Let's talk about these guys. GUMIHO, build order genius, never as fast as the other guys. I don't think ZOUN's as fast either, but they both just have a wider range of strategies that they try to win games off as well. And I think this is going to be a very fun series. Amygdala is a rather big map. We've got Marine first, into Reactor Factory, High Ground Command Center for GUMIHO. So it's a 1-Rax expand, but very safe on the high ground, up against ZOUN going Chrono Adept into Twilight. Pretty standard build for ZOUN, actually. Interesting. I mean, like I said, this is from quite a few weeks ago now, this series, so I'm not sure if he, the 2 gas build he's been doing in the last week or two, he maybe hadn't figured that build out at this point. We might see a slightly different series of builds to some of the series I was casting from ZOUN earlier today and yesterday, actually. But man, I've been all about that ZOUN magic lately. He's looking great. He's playing really interesting styles and showing a different take on Protoss, especially without Zest around. Feels like ZOUN's the guy with some interesting builds to copy. Depth Shade goes past. Marines look for the intercept. 3 Marines beat an Adept, but of course the Adept has regenerating shields, so if she can land a hit or 2 on the Marines and then run away, that can work out really nicely. That's so weird. I just had a moment there saying she, where I had like a flashback from a few years ago. I was casting a game. Someone got angry at me for calling the Adept a she. They were like, oh, you like politically correct. I was like, this has got to be the dumbest take ever. Like, she's quite clearly has the voice lines of a bit of a lady. I mean, don't get me wrong. Looking at that, I don't see a lot of feminine stuff. As a human, she's very human oriented. Oh no, she's got boobs. Never mind. Pretty sure she's got boobs. Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure there's. Never mind. Yeah, actually, even as a human, even just looking at the graphic without hearing, I'm pretty sure you can see boobs under that armor. No, it's pretty obvious. Anyways, Robo's on the way, 2nd gateway and 3rd gate. 3-gate blink Robo, very solid build for ZOUN. Pylon on that left side, Adept on the tower. I don't think Zerg have sex or genders or anything like that. I don't think they do, guys. Yeah. I think they just have, are you the tentacle or are you the orifice? If they probably don't even have that, to be fair. Pretty sure because the queen breeds everything, right? So, actually, I guess ants do have, I don't know. Someone who's into ants can probably explain how it works. Guys, that's a very fast double tank push. How the heck are you going to stop this one? 3-gate blink's probably the perfect setup, but that is a lot of Marines. 2 tanks in a medevac. These Stalkers going to come forwards. If he can pick off 4 or 5 Marines before the push gets there, this could be game-changing. But that medevac's going to boost forward with those tanks. Marines, not much of a match on their own, but with a medevac and 2 siege tanks, tanks have 7 range, Stalkers only 6. Marines are a 5 range unit, so they're a bit vulnerable on their own, but with the help of everything else, this could work out. Immortals being built, Stalkers still trying to delay this as much as they can. Do not want to let these tanks get too close. This is a brutally fast build for GUMIHO, but he needs damage to make this worthwhile. There's the sentry there as well. Stalkers, one of them does siege up, or one of the tank sieges up. And that gateway going down I don't think is the end of the world, but you don't want to be losing these other pylons. If you lose those pylons in that robo, that's where things get really nasty. No more battery overcharge, so specifically this sort of push should be much harder to defend in the current patch. Immortal comes forward, battery gets recharged, Stalkers will blink in, take out one of the tanks. The Viking goes down as well, ignoring the other tank, which is interesting. It's a bit too far back, and ZOUN makes the executive decision to say, ignore that tank, just spread out, do some defensive micro, and let's try and get rid of the Marines first and foremost. But good hot pickup for GUMIHO, salvages it. And at the end of the day, units lost tabs, similar on both sides. GUMIHO does have a second and third barracks. He's got Banshees coming in behind tanks and an engineering bay. Meanwhile, 2-base Colossus on 4 gas for ZOUN. I think overall ZOUN's happy with how that went. What did he lose? 5 Stalkers, 1 Sentry versus 1 tank, 14 Marines, 1 Viking? Yeah, he's okay with that. With a hive species, it's usually all females, except for a couple of drones that are part of the reproducing bit. Yeah, I thought so. And do they eat the male ones after they use them to reproduce with? Isn't it like the mantises and like spiders and stuff will just like, they're like, basically your job as a man is to both get them pregnant or at least attempt to, and then immediately become a snack. Which is just awesome. It is savage, man. Third base coming up. Forge and Charge is there. Observer's going to go into the main base. 5 barracks. No third command center. Scouting. This is huge. You see 4 barracks. You know what's up right now. ZOUN is very aware of what's happening. Now that Banshee should be able to position itself just right where the Stalkers can't hit it, or at least struggle to hit it. It's always tricky. Might want to just back away. Wait till the Stalkers go elsewhere before you finish that. Oh, I like that. It spots the Observer, picks up, and instantly takes it down before it can unsiege and get out. 5 barracks. Wait, that's 6 barracks. He's got 3 barracks with no add-ons. GUMIHO overcommitting to his barracks a little bit. Does it a bit of a supply block, but this is a giant Marine Marauder tank push. 5 siege tanks. Whoa. Okay, ZOUN has to slow this down. If he can slow this down a bit, this could be huge. Focusing the medevac would be good, but he doesn't have enough Stalkers to scare it back, so GUMIHO chases him down, gets one of those Stalkers. The Colossus needs to come forward. He needs to slow this push down and buy time for that second Colossus. Once the tanks are sieged, 5 tanks, if they all focus a Colossus at once, they will leave it on a single hit point. And that is because of its armor. It will have like 1 or 5 hit points, 1 hit point, something like that. It's almost completely dead. Here we go. Tanks sieging up. Marine Marauder coming forwards. Tanks being forced to siege early. Great defense by ZOUN. ZOUN does not have... He's got charge. He's got 4 more gateways. If he can get a round of Zealots and a second Colossus, this could be massive. It's all about buying time as ZOUN. And then when you come in, he needs to flank with Zealots from this top left path. So if he sets up that Zealot flank on the tanks, it's going to be a game changer. He can't take any big tank volleys. He's doing a really good job of monitoring where those tanks are and not accidentally walking into vision. Too many players, they keep accidentally taking tank shots here, but ZOUN's not making that mistake. I like that most of the tanks move to the south, so if the Zealots come from that angle, they're going to have to go around the corner to get at most of the tanks. Beautiful positioning for GUMIHO. I would actually think giving the base up might be the play. This is a 2-base all-in. If you give the base up, it's probably the better play right now. I don't... He's going to go for it, but with no Zealots. More Zealots coming in from the right side. 1 tank will go down, but I don't think this is the play for ZOUN. And you can see that does not work out. He gets rid of 1 tank, kills a few Marines, and then gives up the base. But he's already bled out so many units. And now you can see how far forward the tanks are going. This is where you need to be slowing down those siege ups and waiting for +1 and more Zealots. Great positioning by GUMIHO. Brutal push, great momentum. And I think ZOUN just not quite having the numbers to deal with their Stalkers on the high ground. He's going to try and blink and take out the tank maybe. But that does mean the Bio could drop on top. Colossus coming forward as well. Those tanks and Marauders, though, could do big damage. Oh, is he chasing too far? GUMIHO gets a Colossus, pulls away there. Meanwhile, lots of Stalkers went down in the main for a single tank snipe. In fact, there's another tank inside the medevac. He could actually siege that in the main base. Might be worthwhile. GUMIHO's going to do it. GUMIHO playing like a bit of a mad lad. A savage, absolute Chad right now. Picks up, saves some Marines, leaves 1 tank on the high ground. He's going to try and siege that now, but that does leave it very exposed. Stalkers and Colossus should be able to take care of it. Hold that thought. Maybe, maybe not. That tank just being such a problem. Single Marine up north denying the base. Zealots will finally deal with that bad boy. GUMIHO starts a 3rd command center behind this at his base, and he is finding the damage. A great way to start the series. double tank push at the start into a 5 tank push. It was clearly well-defined timing attacks, whereas ZOUN playing a very normal style, a very traditional style, and he's not quite able to keep up with GUMIHO. The tanks are there. 3 Immortals coming in for the flank. If they get in range of the tanks, those tanks will get blasted, but that is a big if. Nice hot pick up on the tank on the side. 2 Immortals go down. The 3rd Immortal goes down as well, and with that, ZOUN's last chance of breaking this position down the drain. GUMIHO should be able to finish the game off now. Alright, going game 2. GUMIHO with a nice decisive push. And you know what? ZOUN says, screw you, bro. Because that's right, look over here. Probe already coming in. Wants to start harassing that SCV. Make sure there's no proxy barrack shenanigans. We were just discussing beer, and I was mentioning that my only experience drinking a PBR, a Pub's Blue Ribbon, a very cheap American beer, was a non-refrigerated variety. Can't advise drinking non-refrigerated cheap beer, guys. It's not a good... It's already a cheap beer. You don't need to make it horrible. I hear people talk about Bud Light a lot. Is that light alcohol? Light on carbs? Why is it light and why is it popular? Because don't people drink beer to get drunk? Or is it's not, or it must not be less alcohol if it's so popular, right? All right, guys, factory's on the way. Barracks halfway done in the production. It's light on the price. That's the only reason. Okay, so it's just lighter color than the normal Bud. It's like, but it's still the same alcohol. Okay, right. American beer always has a low alcohol content, period. It's probably less alcohol and calories. Oh, really? Why is it popular? The whole point of alcohol is to get drunk. Don't you guys know? In the new world, the Europeans might not know, but we can explain this. Americans, Australians know this for some reason. I think it's because we have the British influence. That's probably the reason why. So the goal in British culture is not to have a drinking culture. It's to be an embarrassment as a representative of your entire people when you drink alcohol. If you come from the British colonized world, your job isn't to be a citizen. It's to be a complete embarrassment that everybody is ashamed of when you're drinking. And yeah, you know, in that case, alcohol content's all you care about, right? Anyway, Robo and Gateway coming in second. Wait, this is a Robo opening? Guys, ZOUN going for the battery wall off. Watch out for the Reaper grenades, though. He's going to bounce ya. Does bounce the Stalker, but second Stalker, not quite able to block the Reapers, but the Hellion should go down. Okay, Hellion goes down. Probe's going to pull away. Oh, he only gets one dude. Oh, the force field. Can he stop him from jumping? He can. Oh, GUMIHO gets shut down. Good D. Cancel the battery, get the money back, and maybe go for maybe a quick third after that. Might be a little greedy, but 2-gate blink. So hallucination scout, probably pretty safe. Tanks are building. Wow. Okay, GUMIHO playing crazy aggro here, guys. Crazy aggro. Hallucinated Phoenix coming around. 4 Marines and a tank gonna boost forwards. A Viking and a tank on the way behind. This is a crazy commitment for GUMIHO. I feel like you're just gonna build more gateways to defend this, right? Yeah, 3rd gate. He's like, actually, you know what? I will rebuild that shield battery then. If you're gonna commit this on to aggression. ZOUN, he's got Stalkers there, but the medevac dodges the Observer. Goes left. He's going to put the tank here. It's a nice tank spot. Robo's a very fragile building, remember, guys. Oh, beautiful tank spot. He's even in range of the workers. Oh, good shot there from the tank. Already gets himself a probe. And that Robo is pretty vulnerable, man. But when Blink finishes, you're in trouble, remember. That's why GUMIHO's afraid. Little does he realize. Actually, he might know from the Robo being up before that this is not a Blink opening. Maybe not, though. The fact that he's playing so cautious tells me he might think Blink is already finishing. He's going to land a Viking, move out with some Marines and tanks, everything joining up on the front. ZOUN sees what's happening with the Observer, and he should be wary. Immortal tries to start up. He's supply blocked right now, but the pylon will finish in a moment. Extra pylon goes down as well. We should be seeing a chrono on that Immortal in a moment. Observer sees the entire army. He knows that army's coming through the middle. Charges on the way. GUMIHO is insanely committed right now to the aggression, and it's all about surviving. He's just got to slow this down with the Stalkers, and man, 3 tanks sieging your ramp on this map would be brutal. Oh! He's going to actually break the cooling tower, potentially. I kind of wish he committed to the cooling tower break there, but doesn't quite get it. And loses a Stalker already. Second one almost goes down. Remember, he doesn't have Blink. These Stalkers are a really weak unit the longer this goes. Oh, no. The tanks are in position. If this back tank moves forward, GUMIHO is going to be dominating him. Moving down this narrow choke point into 3 tanks. Oh, no, thank you. No, thank you. Oh, Protoss. Oh my gosh, my Protoss tears. He scans to get high ground vision. The tank's blasting the units. The battery plus the barrier on the Immortal actually keeping it alive a bit longer. Can he get that tank? The tank not quite firing. The Immortal does go down though, and there's still 1 tank left alive. Massive damage being dealt. Prism on the other side tried to do some sort of distraction. Not quite able to get it. New Immortal does come out. Siege tank does go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, guys. The no thank you is just so cringeworthy. Like, you know when there's certain lines where it's like, I get this gleeful feeling of like, that's so painful. I must inflict this upon the people around me. I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of people who are, I'm not sure what the word is. Maybe nice humans is probably a good way to describe it. When they think of something like that, their inclination isn't to inflict it upon the people around them. But for me, it's always to just kind of go, ha-ha! Listen to this stupid line. Zealots coming in. Tank a little exposed. Goes to the SCVs. Saves all 4 Zealots. Good move, good move. Barely takes any damage. Gets like a mule and an SCV, I think. That was really well done. Oh, look at this attack army for ZOUN, guys. 1 Immortal, 1 Sentry, 2 Stalkers, and he's very wisely going to run home. I think he just got an Observer. I think it was that 1 Observer from the early game that was here the whole time, right? 3rd Nexus coming up. Templar Archive. ZOUN's going to play Storm, and I love to see it. GUMIHO scanning. 3rd Command Center halfway done. Marines, Marauders. We should be seeing Medivacs pumping out of the starport now. But definitely feel like ZOUN's maintained some semblance of control. It's just the supply still tells us. I mean, look, 50 workers to 48. That's not good for Protoss. But there's a lot of production, a lot of infrastructure, a couple of Immortals and a Sentry. You've got decent tech. And you've got a full Prism threatening. What I'd love to see is the Prism rotate to the left side of the map, because you know he's going to be very wary of drops coming in from this angle for the game from now on. That's exactly my kind of humor. It's why I'm the only one laughing at my jokes. Yeah, because you're not really laughing at like the joke being funny. You're laughing at like the pain of the people around you. You're inflicting it upon. Oh, we might be bastards, Gary. Sorry, dude. We might. Yeah, maybe we're annoying to be around. Ah, jeez. It's a realization. Well, at least once you know, you can choose to change or to double down. 8 gateways coming up. Forge, very delayed. ZOUN does like to play a delayed Forge. I love that. The Stalker gets dropped on, tries to blink away. Oh, but more units coming. Good hot pickup for GUMIHO to get out. Prism comes back in yet again. Tank doing some friendly fire to the SCVs. It's really good damage. Looks like they didn't host this one on the correct mod, guys. Shout out to Pro Gamers, never hosting on the correct mod. It's not showing the worker pop-ups. 15 SCVs in total have died this game versus 3 probes only. Despite that, GUMIHO is still okay. Only down 12 workers. I would have loved to see a Viking chase this Prism down already, though. I think that not having happened, bit of a mistake on his part. 4th and 5th barracks coming up as well. Zealots coming out. Stalkers, Archons, Immortals. That 1 Sentry. 4th Nexus goes down on location. The dead worker pop-up is a mod. How is that not part of the base game, says Pizza Shark? Yeah, I mean, it's a mod you can host the games on, but you have to host the game on it. People always ask me, why don't you have the worker pop-up? You know, and it's like, well, literally the replay needs to have been originally played on that mod or it will not show up. There's no observing mod tool that does it. It's like the game had to be hosted on the map that has that built into it. So you just host Ultra Love and you create with mod and you search for OBS++ is the best one. Because then you can see where the player cameras are as well, which gives me so much insight into what they're thinking, where their attention is at any time without having to go into a player's first-person view. Marine Marauder trying to pull back. 3 Zealots. Good clean up there Dude, it feels like ZOUN's really not finding any actual damage, and even though he went for the Templar Archives and he said he was going Storm, he never made Storm. He's on 4 Immortals and an Archon, 10 Stalkers, and a pack of Zealots. His Widowmine's causing problems. One of them goes down, the other one does shoot. That Archon just disappeared for a second, right? I'm not imagining things. Stalker's diving on the base! Uh-oh, GUMIHO's going to try and base trade it. He's trying to save that. Tanks are defending from the high ground, but I think the Command Center will die. He's going to dive on the other side to go for the 3rd Nexus as well. Command Center does fall, and GUMIHO falls back, losing a Command Center and now having Zealots in his main base. But he's already killed the 3rd. He's going to Chrono into the natural, or Stim into the natural, I should say. As the recall goes down, Chronoed Robo gets killed. It was already on Reddit points from the early push. Widowmine's clearing the Zealots. The Bio needs to get out. It's about escaping now for GUMIHO. You both sniped a base. You need to get out of here. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. The Stalker's chasing after him. Those Stalkers can shoot these Medivacs. That could be game-changing. And Blink still a few seconds away. Get the Medivacs boost. Yes, they can. Stalkers will not be able to seal the deal. Great evacuation for GUMIHO. But losing his 3rd Command Center is a problem because Protoss had a 4th and a 5th base building. They rebuild the 3rd. And they do not care. What I love, he's going for energy regen. This is GUMIHO's special move. GUMIHO is the Terran that every Terran in the world, he is the one who will go for medevac energy, the Caduceus reactor, much earlier than anyone else. He is the one player who always realizes how strong that upgrade is. The number of times Terran lose because they don't have medevac energy never happens to GUMIHO, or very rarely. Oh, here we go. Big push coming in. No splash damage. He's going to try and stutter step backwards. Is GUMIHO? I think he realizes, wait a second. I kind of have the critical damage output. Where's your splash damage? Huge mistake for ZOUN to fight here. I don't know why he's fighting here. He does not need to. I guess after losing a base, he felt like he had an advantage. This feels like a huge blunder for ZOUN. I could be wrong. Maybe he clears everything up, but no, the Prism goes down to the Vikings, and one has to wonder, no Storm, no Colossus. You're going back to 5 base against the 2 base Terran. Why would you attack into that ZOUN? Forgetting his fundamentals, getting excited. And don't get me wrong, we've all been in that game where being overly aggressive wins us the game. But in this case, it really has cost him. That one got him a good snipe. 1 Stalker for 1 tank is a brilliant play. He's going to try and buy himself time while rebuilding. But he's only on 8 gateways and a single Robo. So he's Robo rebuilt. He's just making Disruptors one at a time, trying to make his 2-1 upgrades. Terran currently ahead on upgrades and massively ahead on army, with only 2 bases. That is the main base that floated down, remember, guys. So he is on a timer. GUMIHO, I feel like he's already planning to go for a 2-base all-in, but no, he builds a command center. Okay. Wow, GUMIHO's going to try and play a longer game here, and you know what? ZOUN's so low on army, it just might work. ZOUN should have a massive income advantage. He's got all these fresh mineral lines mining, but only 59 probes, not a crazy count. Observers see everything in the middle of the map. Really good vision here for ZOUN. Scan goes down. Viking will take care of it. Zealots are going to run in the left side of this base. Army in the middle. He's going to change direction. He says, you saw me go right. Now I go left. Little does he realize there is a second observer tracking him. That's really big. Disruptors looking for a shot. Looking for a shot. ZOUN. His Zealots just went in. Armies running into each other. Oh, ZOUN, not again. He's really had a big problem recently with getting his Disruptors called out. It's a good force field, but I don't think he has the units to back it up. ZOUN losing his Disruptors. He needed to be so careful. And I cannot believe GUMIHO is going to bring this back. ZOUN attacking into him was a very, very incorrect move. There's no other way to put it. If you've traded one of your 5 Nexus for one of the Terran's 3 command centers, you just got to buy time and make as much long-term upgrades and splash damage as possible. But he definitely overcommitted there, and I think GUMIHO should be able to finish this off. Dodge the Disruptor. He's got the tank doing damage. The force field will disappear, and he will be able to crack through. Cannon, Stalkers, Zealots, all going to get taken out by this ball of bio. And then he, of course, can pull to the right side, take out that Nexus as well. I think GUMIHO's got this one in the bag. Beautiful play for GUMIHO. It takes 2 things to make a comeback like this. Number 1, your opponent needs to make a mistake. Number 2, you need to be ready to capitalize on it instantly. And GUMIHO was just that. Very well played by GUMIHO. And ZOUN, unfortunately, lets that game slip away. All right. Game 3, we've got GUMIHO in the bottom left, ZOUN in the top right. And man, that was, wait. Oh, wait, this is 2-0 now, isn't it, guys? What am I doing? ZOUN was absolutely winning, but it's 2-0. Oh, no. Oh, going into game 3. Dude, if he gets 3-0'd after that game, that's going to be unfortunate. Kind of crazy that ZOUN played no splash damage for so long. He is one of the better players at playing these, like, heavy immortal builds. He really does play them very nicely, but I got to be careful attacking into a guy who was so desperate, and you know, GUMIHO lost his third command center. He was real happy to have ZOUN gift wrap that army for him. Whereas if you keep all those supporting units alive, add some splash damage to it, it would have been incredible. Thank you, JW, for 67-month resub. Says my girlfriend and I are watching Valentine's Day. She asked if you would put on the eunuch shirt, please. Oh, the eunuch shirt. Yeah, for sure. Except no. You guys gotta sweeten the deal somehow. You guys want me to change my shirt? I mean, you can't even see me while I'm casting the game. She didn't ask for this at all. Is she imaginary? Is your girlfriend a blow-up doll, JW? Is this something that you're asking through her? Yeah, Twitch chat's continuing to Twitch chat, as they always do, guys. Just remember, if you're streaming on the internet and someone asks for feet pics, it's one of your less weird days. Let's put it that way. Nice recall there. Save the probe. ZOUN is going to take the second gas. Now, this was Cybercore before Nexus, and one has to wonder why pro players are so obsessed with this. I just love Nexus before core, and I just feel like we should see it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes, you know? I don't know. Getting the faster second gas, the earlier probes, so you're not long-distance mining, you're so much richer off Nexus before core, but if there's one thing I'd really feel like Protoss players could evolve is mixing in that Nexus before core a little bit more at the top level. Doesn't have to be every game, but just once in a while. I feel like in PvZ, Protoss players are so good at skipping Scout. Every now and then, mixing in these little adjustments to their opening. Sometimes they don't chrono the Adepts at all, just chrono probes. But I think they could add that against Terran as well. Now, 3 Marines before Reactor, looking for the ambush. Oh, you're not expecting that because they always build a Reactor after the first 2 Marines. The Adept takes a lot of damage. Great start for GUMIHO. What a clever little detail, guys. 3 Marines before Reactor, which feels weird because it delays you a lot. So what does he use all the minerals on, I wonder? Hellion? Marine production. But he's floating so much money right now. I wonder if he goes for a quick second and third barracks. Tries to just beeline to 3 racks production. Looking for the Adept. Does not find it. And 2 Adepts back at home. Blink starts up for ZOUN. ZOUN. Just a real standard play. Yeah, this is looking very Max Pax inspired, right? This looks so Max Pax-esque the way he's playing. 3 gate before Robo. Okay, I like that. This is a bit of a greedier build, delaying the Robo, and I always love when people do this. I think if you do this build, when Warp Gate finishes, you should immediately warp in a Sentry and hallucinate a Scout with that energy recharge. Hellion pokes in, Hellion pulls back. Chat says, Nexus before core is for sure greedy, and PvT, says Hello Dale. I mean, what's going to punish you? I get this map, I think the Reaper gets there pretty early, so it's fair enough, but especially if you're walling off the ledge, like, the Reaper takes forever to get in that main mineral line. I've asked Harstam and a few other Protoss about this, and I know Skillus mixes it in and has really good starts in PvT. Showtime does, Harstam does. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're as good past that stage as these guys, but I don't know. I think the guys who aren't the top 3 Protoss in the world actually are onto something. I could be wrong. They could be wrong as well. People are always like, oh, if you go Nexus before core, it's risky. And I'm like, what about it is risky? You know, like, it's just like, it's this thing. We always go through these cycles where we make assumptions in StarCraft and then we forget what meta it was that, like, made us make that assumption. Especially on the bigger maps. Like, for me, it was crazy seeing people go core before Nexus on King's Cove and Neon Violet Square. To me was like, what are you doing? It takes 40 seconds to run across this map. Like, you've got to realize how much more money you get from Nexus first core. It's a game changer. It's such a good start. Comparatively, it makes such a big difference. And it's just surprising to me that so many Protoss players just are doing what I historically associate with Terran players and Zerg players, and especially Terran, but Zerg as well, which is mindlessly copying the best player of your race without actually thinking about why you're doing it. You know, the number of Diamond League players who are going core before Nexus every game. I'm like, but why? No one even opens Reaper. It's not bad. I just think it should be mixed in, especially on the bigger maps, longer rush distances. Amygdala, easy Nexus before core map. Here on ley lines, I think core before Nexus makes a fair amount of sense. It's a bit of a shorter distance. Okay, guys, where's the tanks? Look at how greedy GUMIHO was. He's already got stim and shields on the way. This is so greedy. Oh, stays out of Stalker range, gets the Observer. He's like, you can't blink in my base. I'm already building Medevac, Stim Bio. If you're not worried about a 4-gate blink aggression, this is a great way to play. He pulls a single SCV to repair the bunker, which is really bad. GUMIHO should have pulled more. That was really bad. Big underreaction. Big underreaction. So he loses a bunch of Marines. ZOUN recalls, which is not what I was expecting. Why do you guys think he recalled there? Comments section, please let me know. I'm very confused. I guess he's expecting a drop. In his mind, he thinks a drop's gonna fly in. Interesting. I think ZOUN here is kind of seeing shadows. You ever see like a cat thinks it sees something and it's like just, it's trying to catch like a mosquito or something? That's kind of what I feel like I'm getting with ZOUN's army movement right now. GUMIHO's got a pretty stiff push coming through the middle. Charge halfway done. Colossus is on the way. Oh, I do like the Zealot drop. Could be big, but Charge isn't ready yet, so he's not quite ready to initiate that. There is a Liberator for sure, but it is just one Liberator. One does not need to recall to deal with Liberator. One Stalker deals with that. Here we go. Lib's going to hit the main. Bio Army on the front. Guardian Shield gets sniped instantly. Zealots getting hammered here. Widow Mines not firing on the Zealots. The Cyclone does go down, but the Bio doing really well. Good blink from ZOUN to dodge the Widow Mine. Colossus joins the fray. Walks up and toasts those Marines. Nice defense, but 3 probes do go down at the same time. Zealot dropping the main base. The Warp Prism is still up. Zealot's taking out 8 SCVs on this side of the map, and he's going to warp in more in the natural. Oh me, oh my. Beautiful Stalker positioning there, making sure he does not eat that Lib zone. And the Prism saves those Zealots, picks up, gets out of there. ZOUN may have been seeing ghosts a bit earlier, but he is all over it right now. He knew GUMIHO was going to get in his face early, and he has shut it down. Oh, I actually know exactly what he did, by the way. Okay, Colossus, pull back, pull back. Oh, Colossus, dude. Oh, the Zealots are arriving. The Prism is there. The Colossus refusing to die. Oh, he can't pick up. The Widow Mines kill the Prism and the Colossus at the same time. If he picked up, he would have died either way. Oh, that is actually really cool for GUMIHO, but I think it's going to be a game win for ZOUN. He will not be going down 3-0 here. And I figured out why he did the snap recall there. It just occurred to me. It took me a little bit to figure out, but we got there in the end. Sometimes you forget what the player's vision looks like, and I think he knew. He thought GUMIHO's medevacs were already on the field. That's what he misjudged. Big thanks, Cyan, for the raid. Appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Even more damage. 11 SCVs. Devastating. Liberator came back in. Dude, GUMIHO is so annoying with this Liberator. I love how well he's using this. And sounds like, gosh, man, can you get out of here? But he's got a 4th Nexus up. 63 probes. +1 attack coming in. Extended Thermal Lance is done. He's going from 8 gates to 10 gates. More pylons. I mean, this is super ZOUN favored right now. As long as he starts another Colossus, that'll put him just in an absolutely monumental position. He's technically down in army supply, but what is this? Like 1 medevac, a handful of Marine Marauder, 1 Liberator in the back door. You ain't getting anything done here, mate. There ain't nothing for GUMIHO left here on Leylands. ZOUN playing clean enough. So what happened? I guess the game's not going to end. I thought it was essentially because remember, the Observer got sniped. He saw the build GUMIHO was doing. And the moment the Observer was sniped, he thought, oh, you might be going for a drop soon. Pushed in, broke the bunker, and he just saw no reinforcements for so long while he was attacking that natural that he thought, oh my god, the drop must be halfway across the map already. I have to get home right now. So he instantly blinked back, recalled, because he thought the drop was about to arrive at his base. But took me a bit longer to figure that out than I really should have. In hindsight, it seems kind of obvious, but hey, that's StarCraft. Liberator's still being a nuisance over here. The Stalkers will be able to take care of that Lib finally. And he holds in the middle at the same time. That's going to shut down GUMIHO's map presence. Colossus roasts. Stalkers bang. Medevac Marine. Oh, that Marine got chopped in half. Widow Mines going down as well. Zealots taking the Widow Mines potentially. And no, not quite. Oh, overthinking the Widow Mines a little bit. He eventually says, screw it, I can take a Widow Mine to the chin. I ain't no glass-jawed Protoss. 2 Colossus, a pack of Zealots and Stalkers. GUMIHO screwed. Really nice nice play here for ZOUN in this game. He had a good read of what was going on early. And he was doing really, really nicely. Stalkers, Zealots, Colossus hanging on out. Zealot does go down. Zealot, Stalker, Colossus seeing what they can do. The Marine Marauder medevac chilling. 1 medevac goes down. The micro for ZOUN. Your medevacs are out of juice. Your Marines Marauders are out of hit points. When you're outnumbered like that, if the Protoss keeps dancing in and out using that 9 range of the Colossus, there's nothing you can do. All right, guys, game 4. GUMIHO in the top right, ZOUN in the bottom left. And ZOUN fights back. He's going to go for the pylon over here. Walling off that Reaper ledge on Frostline. Things went south pretty quickly for GUMIHO in that game. Did a pretty greedy build order, and it's not super optimal versus Blink, but I think that Colossus popping out when it did at home was just so clutch. The early Liberator really didn't achieve much either. Ended up just kind of chilling in the back for most of that early time where, yeah, technically kind of made ZOUN a little afraid of it, I guess, but it just probably wasn't as high impact as putting those resources elsewhere at the beginning of the game. Double gas opening once again. Double gas opening so popular right now. Question is, what will you do with it? 3 workers on gas. What? What is this? He just pulled 3 workers off minerals onto gas, guys. You don't see that every day. Interesting. It looks like a Stargate build. Can't imagine how else or why else you'd be doing that. Interesting. Oh, damn, JW, thank you so much. Really appreciate the gifted subbies. Going above and beyond. Slappy Bacon in chat if you're watching live. Thank you, my friends. Damn, dog. Factory going up in the main base as well. Pulls off 2 workers on 1 gas. 3 on 1, 1 on the other. A bit inefficient. There we go. Pulls 1 more off now. SCV on the depot taking damage. GUMIHO, you're going to have to swap that out. Just waiting for the Reaper. The second depot finishing early does not really matter. Finish that whenever he wants. He's nowhere near being supply blocked. That probe tried to get the SCV. Goes in for it again. Good micro by GUMIHO. Does keep it alive. ZOUN channeling is in a hero for a little bit. Trying to be as annoying as he can. Nexus is on the way. I think the other reason why Nexus before core would be good is so many players aren't building the command center on the low ground. So there's no reason to really forward pressure them at the start anyway. You could argue that you need to get out units to hide what tech you're going for anyway. So if you really want to shut down their scouting, core first is better for that because you get your units out earlier. Downside, your tech's so delayed with this version. And that in itself kind of slows you down. Now, Stalker, Sentry, Stalker, really good start. Energy recharge to hallucinate a Phoenix. Twilight Council goes down. And that second gateway, by the way, started at about 240, really early. Sees the Reaper Hellion coming. He should be easily able to defend that with Hellion, with the 2 Stalkers and the Sentry. That combined with the Reaper wall off, so you don't have to worry about the multi-prong is big. Here we go, guys. Sees the factory with no add-ons, so he knows it's either more Hellions or Widow Mines being built. 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion. Ain't gonna find any damage here. It's good to wall off with gateways because they have a bit of extra hit points on top of the Robo. Might not sound like a lot, but 500, 500 versus 450, 450 does add up, especially when you've just started building. So Reaper Hellion can actually kill a Robo under construction much easier than they can take down a gateway. Second barracks coming up in the main base. GUMIHO going medevac mine. I'm not a big fan of the double mine drop, guys. I think this is one of the most outdated build orders that doesn't carry a lot of weight. Not against Sentry Hallucination, because it sees it coming every single time. Look at this great opening for ZOUN. Sees the medevac move out. Not sure if he noticed it. He sees the tech labs are late. I mean, I think he should be able to assume as much. 2 Stalkers in the main already. Third one warping in. 2 Stalker Sentry on the natural as well. I think he's got a good idea of what's happening. If you can get 3 Stalkers in the main, that's enough to take down the medevac with 3 volleys. It's not super dominant. Of course, the next power spike would be when you get your 5th Stalker. It takes it to 2 volleys to take down the medevac. Hellion Reaper poking in the 3rd, but I don't think that's too big of a concern. Stalkers get damage on the medevac. It has to pull back for now. Good cautious play for GUMIHO. I think he's going for the pylon. He really wants that pylon. He grabs the sentry. Oh, he kind of bounces himself. Loses a Reaper, loses a Hellion, loses another Reaper. Oh my gosh, Reapers do no damage against Guardian Shield. For those who don't know, guys, a Reaper, its ground attack does 2 times 4 damage. Guardian Shield reduces damage by 2, so it becomes 2 times 2. It literally halves the damage of the Reaper. Guardian Shield destroys that Reaper DPS. Widowmine is going to fire here. ZOUN does not even care. Oh, actually he has Blink ready. Okay, of course. I was like, oh, he doesn't even care about losing a Stalker. That's kind of weird. But no, turns out he had Blink. So he ends up losing nothing but a little bit of mining time. Oh, Stalker's Blink forward. Get another Reaper. Dude, the Reapers are going to Cucktown in this game. We've got 3 barracks going to be landed. Where's the engineering bay? Ah, there we go. +1 weapons on the natural. 4th gas will be starting up soon. That'll allow him to keep up medevac production and probably goes Widowmine production in the near future. Can't actually fit a reactor there, so it's probably going to move that reactor or that factory and build the reactor elsewhere. Oh, no, it does fit there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. How do we feel about this positioning, guys? The only way he can get over here is by moving up through this area. There's a hole between the starport and the gas, and there's a hole between the gas. It just feels really awkward moving around. Yeah, okay. GUMIHO agrees with me that that's really weird and awkward. Makes it hard to defend your own base. So he does cancel the reactor, lifts the factory, starts a 3rd command center, and he's going to play a bit more of a slow, contained game in Game 4 against ZOUN. Here we go. Marines stimming forward. 3rd Nexus is up. 16 probes there. 16 probes, 3 on gas. ×3. Forge is coming up, but it hasn't started upgrading. This is one of the earliest +1s you'll see from ZOUN, and that goes to show his comfort level. He doesn't go Forge unless he really feels like he can afford the luxury, and I don't think this is a very committed push for GUMIHO. I think GUMIHO is looking to scare him, looking to make him worry a little bit, but ZOUN's doing a good job picking off Marines and kind of punishing him for moving on the map, using that Stalker mobility. 2-shot that Hellion. Not quite, doesn't get the full 2 volleys off. Weather update from Melbourne. 37 degrees in Melbourne on Thursday. It's not going to get past 20 for the weekend. Dude, yeah, the weather shifts this summer have been crazy. It's been like that where I'm like, oh my god, it's so hot. And then I'm like, oh, it's kind of chilly. It's, you know, nothing like some 15 to 20 degrees Celsius weather swings over the course of a couple days. Zealots running around the north side. Zealot Immortal Sentry here. 1 Colossus out. 2nd one should be starting, but he doesn't quite have the gas. Dude, a lot of minerals floating. I'd like to see ZOUN add a 4th base and a few more gateways. Struggling right now. There we go. 200 gas. He's got to remember that Colossus production. ZOUN. Okay. Good play. And he remembers the pylon down here as well. You know, one thing ZOUN doesn't do is build proxy gateways in, like, the corners of the map. I feel like that's something every Protoss player should do pretty much every game. Then again, I guess it's a bit of a luxury. You could argue that guys like Clem are just going to go around the edges, clean those up, and you're giving them free value. But I don't know. I always feel like having a warp prism is nice, but even better is just have a gateway here, have a gateway up here, or even all the way back up there. There's a few good things you can do with that. It's very cheap, doesn't cost you supply, and it also works for map control. Gives you a bit of vision, bit of spotting. It always confuses me that Australian seasons are reversed. I know it's kind of hard. Because, like, it would make more sense if the Earth was round and rotated around the sun. But since we know that the sun does rotate around the Earth and we're the center of the universe, and we are also flat, it's kind of hard to explain unless you have an advanced physics degree, but you know how it is. Zealots coming in. SCV is going to try to fight that. Not the best idea. Marine Marauder going to do a bit of a better job. Oh, medevacs in the open. Stalkers blink forward. Get one of them. Great snipe to start that engagement for ZOUN. ZOUN's also got the 2nd Forge in the way, 2-1. He's got that 9th and 10th gateway transforming. Pure Zealot Stalker Colossus army. None of those immortals that he's had faith with in the last week of StarCraft. Maybe something that he might mix in later on in this game. Bio pulling north. Double upgrades are on the way, guys. So it is 2-1. +1 finishing. +2 armor hopefully starts up soon there for GUMIHO. Ghost Academy's on the way. Observer gets taken down. Zealots are going to get prompted to run in, but look at that. He's ready for it, guys. Got a little Bioforce and a bunker just waiting for it. ZOUN hopefully reacts quickly. And he only loses 1 Zealot. Really good reaction for the Protoss player. Also, by the way, I love that they've both got guys hiding in the grass. The Zealots hiding here, and the Marines. I feel like this could be like a Romeo and Juliet situation. You know, the Zealot climbs up here, starts whispering sweet nothings over this log down to that Marine. Marine's like, oh, but I can't. We're not meant to be together, you know? And then And then he's like, no, make love to me. And he like lifts up his weird dreadlock thing. And the Terran's like, what the hell do I do with that? And he's like, what? How do you make love? And then, you know, there's a whole discussion going on about anatomy and how Protoss photosynthesize, and no one understands why they have nipples if they photosynthesize. That doesn't even make sense. But, you know, that's what happens when you have cross-cultural relationships. You learn a lot about each other. Anyways, Bio coming forward, Vikings tanks as well. Big Bio force in the south, ready to flank. But this is 37 Zealots with 3-2 upgrades starting. I love how actively ZOUN's chrono boosting. He's on such a heavy Zealot army that mass chrono is going to be huge. We've got 4 more gateways coming up at the moment. Just 2 of them finishing now. 2 are already transforming. So it's going to bring him, I think, to 12 or 14 gateways. And we've got 5th base down the bottom. I think Blink DT is going to be the finishing blow for ZOUN. Double Robo Disruptor and Dark Templar will probably be the next step. But for now, GUMIHO's maxing out. He's got a 2nd starport, a fusion core, a 4th command center finished. If GUMIHO can kind of get to that next step, that could be really nice. Scan cleans up the observer. Here comes the mass zealot. Oh, guys, ZOUN's excited. ZOUN has 40 zealots with 2-1 against the 1-1 Terran. GUMIHO's +2 attack, though, is about to kick in, tying up the upgrades. Perfect timing for that upgrade. And ZOUN's going for it. Full YOLO. Maximum momentum. Half the Bio army is not there. GUMIHO caught off guard. He's already lost a lot of his medevacs and a tank and a bunch of stuff. Disruptor shot catches 2 ghosts on the left side. The Colossus Zealot Stalker model now trying to pull back. He's got another big warp in. 14 gates of Zealots warping forward. Stalker's taking care of the Vikings. The Colossus survives, and that is a game changer. 1 Immortal and 1 Colossus dishing out massive amounts of damage. And if he can survive to get 1 more wave of Zealots, GUMIHO might just crumble. ZOUN not going to go down 0-3. He is going to fight back in this series. And look at that. The command center floated down in the middle of all this. GUMIHO was panicking. Too busy. He did not pull the command center back. And that is going to be an issue. Command center goes down. Zealot's going to run away. Widowmine does get traded on. More Zealots coming in. It's like 8 Marauders and 2 Ghosts. There is no way that defends this. The Stalkers blink forward and kill the medevacs. The Disruptor gets jumped on, but it lands a massive ball on top of that Marine Marauder. And we are going to be going to Game 5. All right, guys. We've got GUMIHO in the bottom right side of this map. He was up 2-0 in this series, though arguably that second game was a bit of a Hail Mary with ZOUN overcommitting on Ultra Love. ZOUN now in the top left, going for the Hero Scout. The super aggressive probe heads straight across the map and almost immediately starts getting... Now, I actually would argue, guys, if you're going to go for an early probe, it's better to send one of your very first probes across because you can block the barracks from going down in position. So I actually think it's way better than going for like a Pylon Scout or whatever timing this is that he's using right now. I think this is probably a Pylon Scout or just before the Pylon goes down. I think the way Hero does it is just a little bit more kind of disruptive. That's the word I'm looking for. You know, it just throws the Terran's build off a little bit more chance to get in their head early and discombobulate their thoughts before they get fully settled into the gameplay rhythm. Orbital coming in, Cybercore, of course, before Nexus, as we see every time. It's Whispers of Gold, guys. What do we talk about when we talk about Whispers of Gold? We talk about this main base getting doom dropped from the Protoss. So if the Terran can push this angle, pick up, boost in the main, sometimes that kills Protoss. Other times, Terran pushes this side, pulls them out of position, and other units doom drop the main. But drops in that main are always a problem. Speaking of drops in the main, that guy teleported back to his main base with the recall. Nice move. I love that we're seeing more people use recall. I remember for the longest time, no one was recalling. And I think people were like, oh yeah, it's not worth it. It's better to chrono probes. And it was like... It was like the number of people who kept debating this with me. They're like, yeah, no, chrono's better than recall. And I'm like, guys, this is like such basic maths. Like, this is not hard to count. Like, a chrono boost shaves 10 seconds off building probes, which is good. A probe takes 12 seconds. That's most of a probe. Or, for the same energy, you can have a probe right now that can start mining right now. So do you want 80% of a probe that you can build in the future and you have to pay for 50 minerals? Or do you want to just get the probe for free and have it immediately at home mining? Like which one of these do you think is better? Like, recalling versus chronoing an extra probe is literally so much more efficient. It is insanely, like, obvious which choice. The number of players who argued with me on that over the years, and I was like, I sometimes worry for the StarCraft. Like, you know, it's a community that likes to think of ourselves as so elite. We're playing the hardest game. We're so smart. We're so... And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of ex-pro gamers who are very successful. I know a lot of pro poker players, you know, many high-paid lawyers and doctors and entrepreneurs and business owners and all sorts of things. But I also have a feeling there's a fair portion of the community who click things good and maybe don't think that good. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you guys are idiots. I'm heavily implying it. Yeah, I wasn't sure where that was going till the end either, but I was like, I think I'm just saying this. I think you can get pretty good at StarCraft without really, like, if you're good at clicking and doing what the smarter players than you tell you to do, you know, it might actually be the way to do it. A lot of degenerate gamblers as well. You flip coins pretty good. That's true. That's true. No, I love you guys. I'm also pretty dumb when it comes to analyzing numbers. I didn't do good in school. Well, I mean, it's not that I did bad in school. I didn't do my homework in school would be a better way of doing it. I didn't really do much university either. My education is playing video games for the most part and reading books. Alright, guys. That medevac does take damage. Pig, a queen walk still a play for Zerg? Yeah, only if you enjoy free wins, chat. Like, everyone's forgotten it because pros aren't using it. Nothing changed except the fact that Protoss doesn't have shield battery now, so it's better than ever. But, you know, pro players stopped doing it for whatever reason, so average Joes are like, hey, I guess queen walk doesn't work. And I'm like, queen walk's literally the best it's ever been. They're like, well, but no, well, it depends on the map. If you're playing Neon Violet or King's Cove on the ladder, obviously those maps are so big you can't walk across there with queens. It's also hard to walk across like Amygdala with queens. As always, queen walks are a rush distance issue, but here, Whispers of Gold, Ley Lines, all good maps for queen walks. All right, Raven going to the top right, guys. Cyclone, I like that the Cyclone hid in the corner. He's going to go around looking for observers maybe with these or try to get them home. Tank on the high ground. Oh, it's a 2-barracks build, guys. This is his 2-barracks single starport with no add-on on the starport. So he just builds medevacs one at a time, lots of marines, and he does a brutal marine tank medevac push. But his 3rd barracks is really delayed when GUMIHO does this build. Now, this is, of course, a 3-gate build with Blink immediate charge into a 4th gateway and a forge. I like the early forge builds. ZOUN used to never really do that. Medevac goes and saves the Cyclone. Raven's going to poke in, but I don't think this is good because he's already seen it. Oh, the Raven's almost dead. Raven survives, but it's 1 shot from death. It does take out 2 probes, but I think you're very happy now as ZOUN because a single Stalker can end that Raven. You probably want to bring that in like a minute and a half later. Bring it as far down this left flank as you can and hope you see no Stalker and get out of there. Observer does take out the Widow Mine with those Stalkers. Tank Marine push, here we go. He's bringing 2 SCVs for the repair as well. 1 Marine has already gone down. Remember, no stim just yet. Combat shields is miles away. 3rd barracks is on the way. Cyclone will take out the Observer. And it looks like it barely gets the Observer, but the Stalkers take out 2 Marines. It does take a few hits from the tank there as those Stalkers have to pull back to regen shields. These Stalkers should all join up on the front. Something I've noticed is ZOUN is very conservative with his Stalkers. Sometimes he'll keep a lot of his army at home and try to just have 4 or 5 on the front. I think he's been traumatized by the frontal army being a distraction and like the liberators or the drops pulling in a lot in the past, and that's why he's worried about that. Army now threatening to the right side. This does disguise the fact that he's very greedily building his 3rd on location and going double engineering bait into 5 barracks afterwards. Dude, I love the way GUMIHO does these builds, man. He doesn't overcommit at all. This is fantastic. Robo-Bay's just now starting. +1 is on the way. Charge is already done, and that's going to be, is that 7 gateways? With an 8th gateway build. So 8 gateways, 57 probes. I mean, the 3rd base mining is a big boost for ZOUN. Especially because he's being so efficient with the Stalkers. Grabs another, blinks away, and now I think he really feels confident. Look at this. He starts probe production. I expect a gas to go down. Potentially. Then again, I've seen him play 3 gas Colossus. Yeah, look at this, guys. He's sending a probe to take a 4th. So he's going to go straight for a 4th base off 3 gas and just make a ton of Colossus Zealot. All right, GUMIHO, very heavy on Marines because of his opening. He's going to have to really focus on Marauder production for a little while to catch back up. I wouldn't mind him going double Tech Lab here. There's arguments for and against. He goes Tech Lab Reactor, which is more standard. The Reactor helps you build a lot more Marines, which are much better for killing Zealots, but they're way more vulnerable to Colossus. So I think, actually, we've seen a lot of very heavy Zealot play from ZOUN. It probably does make sense to keep that more standard Marine split. Chat says no one uses Zerg. Out of these 2 players, no, they don't use Zerg. Good question, though, Twitch chat. You guys have any spare IQ? Lend it to Twitch chat, please. Phoenix is going to go down there as well. No, unfortunately, we did only cast one Zerg series today out of 4. This is our 4th series. Only one Zerg. There's one Rogue match. But hoping we get a lot more Zerg matches to cast soon. As it has been a little light on Zerg content in the weekly tournaments. That is true. Shin hasn't had as many good runs recently, which is a bummer, because he was really exciting for about a month or two there. So many good Shin games, and it feels like he's stopped signing up for the online tournaments and is trying to like figure out the meta right now and come up with some new builds before he starts grinding tournaments again. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Eats the Widow Mine friendly fire. Careful, GUMIHO. Careful, mate. Pylon in the top right, SCV and Probe staring at each other. Second Forge goes down, as well as 9th and 10th Gateway, so it is Colossus 10 Gate. GUMIHO's down on supply. That's never good for the Terran. Yeah, this 2-Rax build really didn't work out for him. Maybe he would have been better off just pulling the boys and shoving. He might have actually killed ZOUN if he did it. Now he's just got to play survival mode. He's got to protect these siege tanks as best he can. If those tanks go down, the Colossus is going to ruin his day, because he's only got 2 Vikings, 2 more building. I think he needs to get a starport over there on that factory as well. He's trying to go 2-2 upgrade starting ship weapons. Ghost Academy's coming in, but EMP is not ready yet. No Ghosts actually on the field. Zealots do get taken out by the Widow Mines. The army's going to rotate a little. A few Zealots waiting down south. 4th Nexus is up. 5th Nexus now starting for ZOUN. He's got a 2nd Robo building in the natural, still on just 3 gases. This is how ZOUN does it. He prefers to overemphasize minerals, because Zealots are the core of your army. Having enough Zealots is what allows your gas units to do their job. And I think in general, this is a good lesson for anyone. Always have an abundance of minerals, right? Focusing on your mineral economy, getting that down first, is always the core of your play, allowing you to mass Marines, Marauders, Stalkers, Zealots, Ghosts, all these things really big. Raven still not able to get in there despite full energy. I love that GUMIHO hasn't been panic F2ing. Maybe just coming in here, throwing some auto turrets down on this angle might be the way to do it. All right, command center is floating to that left side. 3 more barracks coming in as well. Here we go. Careful with that command center, GUMIHO. Pull it back, pull it back. You don't have the numbers to protect that. He needs to move his tanks to a central position. Those tanks, if he gets both tanks here in a wedge, then I think he can defend kind of decently from there. But moving the tanks around in the open's a problem, dude. If those tanks get taken out, you lose your artillery. I think he should keep those in that central position for sure. A couple Stalkers do get blasted there. ZOUN's got 5 bases. He's feeling like he can be a bit wasteful. Remember, he's only on 70 probes. It's not like he has unlimited money. Like, yes, GUMIHO's on the ropes right now, despite being up 2-0 earlier in this series. But man, the tanks, if they were there, they'd be shelling him right now. Big mistake with the tank positioning for GUMIHO. This lets ZOUN potentially get in position. But ZOUN just goes to the sensor tower and pulls away. And now the tanks... put that other tank in position, bro. Okay, 1 tank. You can see, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. It just makes it a bit harder for him to rotate. That tank could maybe go there. He's going to siege it in position. Disruptor. Gets the tank shot. Does land on 2 Marines as well. Mass Zealot on the top right. Dude, so scary right now for GUMIHO as he tries to build a planetary. Few Zealots will get taken out. 4 Medivacs, 8 Vikings. You got to be careful about stimming. Caduceus Reactor and 2 more Medivacs are on the way. 2nd Starport is up for GUMIHO. He's on edge right now. He knows that ZOUN might just dive at any moment, and he has to micro properly, or his bio is going to get hammered by the Colossus and the Disruptor shots. Oh, no, watch out! Good pullback, good pullback. Okay, Sensor Tower's helping him out there. Scan's giving him a bit of value. 5th Command Center is on the way there, but ZOUN already has a 6th base on the way. Tank getting a shot or 2 off. I love that he put it back in the corner. Oh, it's going to get jumped on, though. That tank should go down. It doesn't. It survives. I'd love to see him repair that tank, and indeed he will. The tank's still potentially in range, but he's got to keep scanning in order to utilize that range. And look at that. Here comes ZOUN. Pushing in, pushing out. Not actually committing, though. Zealots on the top side going to pull the entire army. GUMIHO, careful. You can't pull your whole army for that. It's a little far away that he just moved. Ooh, he's in survival mode right now as GUMIHO. If he can find the money to start 3-3 upgrades, that'd be big. He's got Caduceus Reactor on the way. His Vikings going a bit too far forward. He pulls back before the Stalkers can snipe any. 5th Command Center is... No, I don't think that's a good move. Right now, GUMIHO is just so pinned back defensive. I think he should sit on 4 base and just turtle until he finds the right engagement. And yeah, he's looking for it now. He's looking for it now. GUMIHO goes for it. He pulls back there with most of his army. Nice hot pickup to dodge the Disruptor shot. doesn't get rid of a Colossus. He's already lost one Viking, but he did damage two of the Colossus pretty heavily. Stim gets used. Vikings running in. One Colossus goes down. Disruptor shot number 2 lands on a single Ghost and a Marine. How many Vikings? Still only one Viking, and one Colossus is gone now, so it should be going better right now. But 14 gateways are up. 3 more building. Stalkers blink forward. Vikings, one of them goes down for free there. Planetary on the right side is now erected. And he's not keeping track of the army. He doesn't know if he's going left or right. He sees him now. Sees that he is indeed going right. The bio army's already damaged. The disruptors are going to zone him. 5th command center, unprotectable. Advanced ballistics and libs coming in. GUMIHO's got to be careful, mate. That bio, every stim will take him so long to heal. And because he's on edge, ZOUN knows this. He's going to try and bait him. He's going to pick at him. Try and get him to make these mistakes. Libs trying to siege forward here. They could get blinked on potentially, but blinking into the mineral line, very scary for the Protoss player. Depot's getting taken down. Sets of towers and turrets getting taken down. Disruptors continuing to shoot from afar. And ZOUN just showing zero fear in this game. GUMIHO might have to split his army on this. He stims forward, gets a disruptor. Oh, 3, 4 disruptors. Oh, ZOUN being too cocky there. GUMIHO punishes him. 3 more Stargates and a fleet beacon on the way. Great play for GUMIHO. But the army's going to come right back in, forcing him to stim again. Every time he stims, those hit points, they're taking too long to heal. The bio army trying to stand its ground. The Vikings take care of the Colossus. The Zealots not really able to land the hits they need. And GUMIHO obliterates the Protoss army. But with 14 gateways, remember, ZOUN might be able to reproduce. GUMIHO lost his 5th base. He needs to play slow and careful. This 5th command center needs to survive. He has to defend that. He's going to make another orbital over on that side. He's still got these tanks in a defensive position. I like that he's sending an SCV forward, trying to catch the army rotations. He's really struggled to keep vision of that now. Getting the observers big, because otherwise ZOUN could see where he's coming from. No Psystorm for ZOUN. ZOUN goes for +3 armor and plasma shields, +1 air weapons as well. Zealot Stalker runs in. The Ghosts, the Marauders, and the tanks. Happy to take care of a few of those Zealots. 3-3 is about to catch up now for GUMIHO. That means his units are going to become much stronger. Uh-oh, Lib's caught out. Lib's caught out. And look at that. Disruptor shot does land on a unit as well. Viking's not useful right now when there's no Colossus. Liberator comes in from the top side. He's going to siege up. Lib range is finished, as well as +2 ship weapons. These Libs are really going to help in this area. Liberator in the top does take out a few probes. Stalkers should deal with it quickly, though. I think ZOUN's all over it. Yeah, nice play. If these Libs can get to a central position, siege 2 on the left, 2 on the right, that's probably his best bet. 2 sieging up. The other 2 gonna siege on the right. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, this creates a harder position, but look, now the Tempests are here. ZOUN giving him no room to breathe. I still feel like ZOUN, with only 4 disruptors for splash damage, might just get overwhelmed by a big army jumping on top. But the Tempests trying to make GUMIHO screw this up. That army... Oh no, he's not coming in from the flank. He was meant to come in from the flank. GUMIHO messed up his flank. Oh no! His units clumping up on the corner. He thought they would be coming from up here in the center middle of our screen. A massive misclick for GUMIHO. He didn't send his flank far enough around. He takes a massive disruptor shot, and now he corners himself. He can't believe what he's just done. He's in disbelief, and he's botching it. I think he had the army to sandwich this and shut ZOUN out of this game in this series. But he goes and makes a massive mistake. And you could tell he's panicked. He can't believe his eyes. He still, despite that, clears most of this Protoss army. But dude, that should have been a much better fight. Lib does come in, takes out 1 Stalker, 2 Stalkers. Will it take out a 3rd? Yes, it will. Almost gets a 4th one, but it does manage to avoid that. That Liberator is still very valuable. Tempest still chipping away. GUMIHO, he's actually up in supply, up in money right now. If he gets rid of this army, he will win this game. But I think he needs to unsiege his Libs and go. I think he needs to unsiege his Libs and jump on top, and he needs to build Vikings. He's building Medivacs right now, but I actually think Vikings are the way to do it because he's only got 8 barracks. And he just needs things to help kill these Tempests, because those are actually valuable army supply. They might not be the best frontal fighting units, but they are valuable. Dark Templar. Oh, the Dark Templar going to cause some mistakes as well. GUMIHO, he's been under pressure for so long, desperately trying to hang on. ZOUN mounting that pressure up as the SCVs continue to drop in that natural. Finally, the Dark Templar goes down. It looks like a Liberator on the left side goes down as well. The Liberator is one of the few things that are actually distracting, but Libs and tanks starting to go down. Disruptor falls. Marauders trying to pull back. The Libs trying to help against those Zealots, but they're so far back, these Lib zones. Hot pickup saves some of his units. Some of the Disruptors are going down. GUMIHO with some fantastic micro right now. Units lost have 3,000 in his favor. Both sides neck and neck in supply. GUMIHO floating a lot of minerals. He's going to stim forward. He's going to siege the Libs. EMP all over the Tempest and that army, but no Vikings to help seal the deal. And the moment ZOUN isn't being chased, he turns around and kills all the Liberators. Dude, somehow GUMIHO is still up in supply. He's got his 5th base still up, which is his lifeline. It's so important for him to transfer workers there as time goes on. His bases are starting to mine out. ZOUN, of course, is on 6th base. He never took a 7th base. It's not like ZOUN is that crazy rich either. ZOUN is a player who likes to get in his opponent's face and micro. He doesn't like to make a massive income. The Disruptor's getting caught. The Zealots and the Immortals going down. The Bio stimming forward. Is there enough Bio to carry this through? The Disruptor's covering the retreat. And every time you disengage, you have to heal back up. And then, of course, he's relying on those Medivacs. Dark Templar still in the natural. Another one trickling in there. ZOUN, he's down in supply, but he is bullying a Terran who is up 20 army supply. This is the power of Tempest, trying to overload your opponent. If these guys can move up here and then flank, that can be good. But ZOUN realizes he's flanking and catches the flank. And GUMIHO has to run away. GUMIHO running back, very wisely done. Dark Templar still there in the natural. Zealot in the top right will go down. Tempest's running forward in the middle. That is currently 5 Disruptors plus 2 air weapons on the way. No Storm, only 5 Disruptors, not that many Zealots. Kind of crazy the way ZOUN's playing this, but he does have 7 Tempests just picking away on the front. Dude, this is actually crazy. The Bio getting caught, Oh, God, massive balls. ZOUN drops trousers and unloads his ridiculous payload all over GUMIHO. My lord. What in the hell? GUMIHO, he's just too much pressure for too long. And when you're under that amount of pressure, mistakes are going to happen. ZOUN just so expertly leaned on GUMIHO until the mistakes revealed themselves. And he finds them with the Disruptor payoff. After all these many minutes of just slowly picking GUMIHO apart. And finally, after GUMIHO defended so well for so long, he finds the value. And the Tempest, of course, still standing at the end. GUMIHO does not have the numbers. He's down in army supply now. Down in other worker supply as well. And of course, if he loses this 5th base, he is screwed. And mostly Marauder Force just getting chipped at by these Tempests. They're using their range, abusing their mobility. And oh my lord, ZOUN. Taking GUMIHO to Pound Town. A reversal from down 0-2. Wow, what a series this has been, dude. I can't believe GUMIHO survived and almost brought it back, though. Like, after the situation in the mid-game, I thought he was kind of screwed. I'm actually really impressed GUMIHO hung on as well as he did. I'm sure there's players who look at the final Disruptor mistakes and they go, oh, GUMIHO screwed up, not good enough. But, like, I truly see it the other way. I think he was meant to die a few minutes earlier. I think he hung on like a bloody champ. I'm really impressed with how GUMIHO hung on here. And, you know, ZOUN just played such a good constant pressure on the frontline style. He might not have had a giant income behind it, but ZOUN was always in his face with this huge army. And GUMIHO now down 30 army supply. The Tempest's going to force him to just kind of bum rush. And that ain't what you want to do into Disruptors, man. Tempest picking off the Medivacs right now. Zealot, Stalker, Disruptor, Tempest dancing in and out. Bio counterattack does find the 6th Nexus. Finally takes that 7th one up north. Kind of surprising how slow ZOUN has actually been to expand in this game. He hasn't really been managing his economy very actively at all. Definitely could use a few more workers on that base, a few more workers on this top base, and most of the rest getting transferred. That new top right one that's being built. New command center. It's one of the extra ones that's floated down here. 2 Marauders go after the Disruptor. Not quite able to get it. Ah, man, I really feel the accidental fail on the sandwich was everything. If he got that sandwich, I really feel GUMIHO brought it back, but there's just too much pressure. And he kind of just thought, yep, these guys will come from behind when he F2A moves. And they didn't do what he expected. Disruptors landing all over that Terran army. Yes, a lot of Disruptors go down, but I think it's good enough because there's so many Zealots and Tempests left over. The Marines and Marauders can't handle that. He's even focus firing the Medivacs is ZOUN with those Tempests, which of course are going to ruin their long-term healing. 3-3-1 for the Protoss. No ghosts left in here at this stage. No EMPs on the Zealots, which means they're just better than you're used to seeing in the later stages of the game. Used to seeing those units get EMP'd, but when the pace is like this, there's no chance to use EMP. No chance to rebuild ghosts. GUMIHO taps out, and ZOUN takes a 3-2 comeback victory. Like an absolute Chad Gamar. GG, well played. Yeah, this is it, guys. So this is the moment right here that I wanted to look at one more time. If he clicked this bio to here, when he A moves on the army or behind the army, the Terran's going to come through this area, as well as, of course, coming through from this big spread into this area, and you're getting an effective kind of 180-degree surround by attacking from those two sides. But instead, look at what this Bioforce does, which it basically doesn't engage correctly at all. Because look at this. And he A-moved there. He should have A-moved further to the left as well. It was a bad A-move command. He targeted that bit on the ground. Eats a massive disruptor. His units are not engaging at the same time. They're kind of stuck behind the corner. That was a really big mistake. Unfortunate. And then he was just pinned. Oh, so devastating. Beautiful game for ZOUN, though. GG, well played. ZOUN butchering GUMIHO makes the reversal. GG, well played.